Hey everyone, Kat here with Thomas Sewing Center. So today's live, we're going to be doing a stocking peekaboo treat bag from GG Designs Embroidery. GG Designs is a website where you can buy in the hoop embroidery projects and designs. So this one in particular, and there's several different versions of this design. This one in particular is a stocking, and I'm doing the smallest one just because we're going to be doing it live. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to give you just enough information so that you feel confident purchasing this design and stitching it out at home. I'm also going to show you a couple of features about the Baby Lock Altair 2 in regard to placement to kind of help you understand how to do placement with this machine in particular. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kat. I am with Thomas Sewing Center. We have 2 store locations, one here in Greenup, Kentucky, and then we have a second location in Lexington, Kentucky. So if you aren't familiar with us, if you're watching this from YouTube, then thank you for joining us first of all, but be sure to head over to our website, thomassewingcenter.com, and see what we're all about. So let's go ahead and get started. I have already loaded my design into the Baby Lock Altair 2 using the wireless design database transfer method to get my design onto the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around. And we're going to take a look at the machine screen. So that's a terrible shot. Let me try to get in there a little bit closer with a little less glare. So how's everyone doing today? Let me know you're here. Say hello. I'm thinking that this design was like $4.99 maybe. It was really inexpensive, but it's got several different sizes that come with it, and then also options to do multiple in one hooping. So we're just going to do the most basic single stocking in a hoop. So here's kind of an idea of what we're doing. We are going to add a name to it, but these are great for little gift bags, especially like if you've got a little one in school and you need to do a gift for classmates. So my design is already on my machine, like I said, so we're going to go into the embroidery section of the machine here, and I'm going to come to this Wi-Fi option right here, and that's where I'm going to find my design that I sent using design database transfer. So my design is right here. I'm going to go ahead and load that into my machine. My machine's going to tell me the approximate size, stitch count, how long it's going to take to stitch, and the number of times it's going to stop to let me change my thread. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on set. And we're not going to do any editing to this design because honestly it stitches out perfectly the way it is. And we're just going to do a small one in the live today. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on embroidery. That's going to take my machine to the part where I am ready to start sewing. Okay, so in my hoop, I already have a piece of dissolve away mesh hooped in here. Now you can also use like a nice cutaway or even a tearaway would work. Really anything you have on hand. I like the dissolve away mesh, that way any extra stabilizer that's left around the edges of the design when I'm finished, I can remove that pretty easily just using a little bit of water. So that's what I'm using, but feel free to use whatever you've got. If you have not purchased this design, I'm going to hold up my instructions so you can see the exact website here. It's ggdesignsembroidery.com. And they've got this specific style of treat bag in several different types. They've got, I believe, some reindeer, a Santa face. So lots of different cute little designs that you can get there. But I think they're around $5 or so. And each purchase that you have comes with full instructions that you can print in color or in black and white. Of course, you can just open those with your computer. Keep your computer next to you as you're sewing, but it walks you through step by step everything that you need to do, and this is included with the purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and load my hoop on the machine. And again, this is my 4x4 hoop with dissolve away mesh stabilizer. I have my machine loaded with white thread. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this design. The first step in this design is going to be a placement stitch. This is going to show me exactly where I'm going to need to lay my fabric and my felt. So for this design, you're going to need some red felt or whatever color you've got. You're going to need some clear vinyl. You can get this in your craft store. Hobby Lobby has it, Joann, probably Walmart even, next to their fabric department. You're going to need white thread and then whatever color thread that you want to stitch the name on your little stocking. You're also going to need some type of topping. So I have press away topping, or you can use the hydro melt topping as well. So at this point, it's stitching the little peekaboo window, which is right here. And now it's finished. So it's waiting on me to take my piece of vinyl and lay it right over top of that circle there. I'm going to put my presser foot down and then tack that down. You're also going to want to have some snips. Curved snips work well for this. Applique snips, duckbill snips, whatever you have. Just something smaller than a regular size pair of scissors is going to work best. Okay, we're going to take the hoop off of the machine. I'm going to back this up just a hair so you all can see this a little better. Anytime you remove your hoop from your machine, you want to hold on to this piece and make sure that this piece doesn't move as you pull your hoop off. Then I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to trim around the outside of that place, or that tack down stitch that it just did. Trying really hard not to cut the stitching. So the duckbill snips get really, really close without actually cutting the stitch. And then you can even get rid of those rough edges there. So this doesn't have to be perfect. You are going to be putting felt over top of this. So don't be too particular about it, as long as you get kind of close. Then we're going to just put the hoop back on. And then my instructions tell me to lay a piece of red felt over this entire piece. So I already have that cut. And the instructions do tell you what size of fabric you need and how much you're going to need for each size of the project, depending on which size you choose to do. I'm going to continue on with my white thread. So I'm just going to put my presser foot down and hit my start key. And then that's going to sew down around that clear vinyl, and then it's also going to sew around the outside perimeter of the stocking. Anytime during the video, if you have questions about anything that I'm using, or the design itself, or even the machine, please feel free to ask those questions. I am more than happy to try to answer any of those for you. If you're new to us, thank you so much for joining. We're so happy to have you here. And then the next step is going to be to sew the outline stitch and tack down my felt to create the shape of the stocking. If you're watching us from YouTube, please be sure to like our video and subscribe for more content like this. We're going to do our best to do more stitch outs like this and demonstrations of different kinds of projects so that you all have the best tips and tricks to help you learn your machines and learn new techniques with embroidery. So you'll notice on the top of the stocking here, it calls for a second piece of fabric. I just used an extra piece of batting that I had left over laying around. You can use whatever you want to put in here. Totally up to you. So you'll notice that it's showing me exactly where I need to lay that piece of fabric. So I'm going to take my scrap batting and I'm just going to lay that over that piece, completely covering it and then stitch that down. Hey, Teresa, Wanda, Karen, Alice, Carol, Diana, thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you all spending some time with me this afternoon. And we're going to remove the hoop from there. And while I was scrolling through comments, I got a little bubble here, and that is so easy to fix. Let me go ahead and show you how to fix that. So you could leave it if you want. It's going to do a decorative stitch around there, but we're just going to go back and stitch over top of it again. That's what I get for running my mouth when I'm trying to work. It's getting really close to Christmas. I hope everyone is ready. I'm not ready. I'm never ready. I'm the crazy person that is always out shopping on Christmas Eve for as long as I remember. I think I might be the queen of procrastinators. So now my machine has this really great little trick. I shouldn't say trick. It's a feature. It's a great feature. This key here, this needle minus plus key, this is going to let me go back. I'm going to go back one step. And I'm going to stitch over top of this last step and put a new piece of that batting down just to completely cover it. Because if you notice, I missed just a little bit here. That's no problem. Easy, easy fix. That's the great thing about embroidery, guys, is even if you have a little boo-boo, it's always, always easy to fix that. And I pulled my thread out of my needle too. So with the Altair 2, you have the Never Miss Needle Threader, which is amazing. Simply push of a button and your needle's threaded. So we're going to stitch that down one more time. Hey, Peggy. Good to see all you guys here today. Okay. So now I'm going to remove my hoop. And I'm going to take my duckbill snips, but like that it is, you're going to be able to get a lot closer. Just trimming. Okay, put that back on. Hold on to this piece as I push the hoop in. Press your foot and start. And the next step is going to be the decorative stitch around that batting. Hey, Wendy, thanks for joining us today. So while that's stitching, let me talk to you a little bit about the Altair 2. So this is a sewing and embroidery combo machine. It comes with 4 hoops. So you've got the 4x4, which it's using there, the 5x7, the 9.5 square, and then the extremely large 9.5 by 14, which is the largest hoop for this machine. So all 4 of those are included with it. If you're in the market for a machine, we do have a fantastic sale going on right now. We are selling our floor model, and we also have an unopened new Altair 2 available, as well as the Meridian 2, which is the embroidery only version of this machine. So if you're interested in pricing on either of those machines, please let us know. Just leave a comment here and I will get in contact with you myself and give you some pricing on either of those machines, as well as any others that we have, of course. If you're watching from YouTube, feel free to give us a call. I will make sure that our phone number is included in the description of the video. So that's just finishing up there. doing that decorative stitch. Now it's going to do the little eyelet so that you can actually hang this up if you wanted. And now I'm going to show you one of the best features of this machine, in my opinion. So with the Meridian and the Altair 2, it comes with an app that's a free download. It's called IQ Intuition Positioning. So with this app, you can actually send photos of your hoop to the machine and use it for placement. So I'm going to take my hoop off my machine. I'm going to get rid of a little bit of my excess fabric. And the way the app works is it will take a photo of the hoop using these grid lines on the hoop. So I'm going to choose photo frame for easy positioning. I'm going to tap OK, and then I'm just going to hold it right over my hoop. It's going to count down, snap the photo, and then it's going to give me the option, send it to the machine. So now it's saying it's sent to the machine. So we're done with that. And again, that app is a free download. Then we're going to bring you back over here to the screen, and we're going to go back. So I'm going to remember my placement. I'm going to remember that I'm on step 7 of 8. And we're going to go back so we can add a name to our hoop. So you'll notice immediately it gives me the prompt that an image was sent with the mobile app. Do I want to use it? So I'm going to say OK. And then it's going to give me the actual photo of my hoop as my background. So now if I want to add a name, I'm going to come down here to add. I'm going to go to my fonts, choose the font that you like, and there are lots of different fonts built into this machine. And we're going to put my grandson's name on this one. So his name is Braxton. I'm going to choose a medium font, R-A-X-O-N, and tap set. And then I'm going to move his name up there so that it lands exactly where I want it to stitch out. But I'm noticing immediately, and I hope you all can see that it is a little bit too big. So I'm going to come in here to my edit, and I'm going to resize it just a little bit so that I can make his name fit perfectly in there, in that little stocking. So now I have his name sized so that it fits perfectly. I'm going to tap OK. Then I'm going to go to onto embroidery, and we're back at the beginning of our design. So now I need to go back to where we can stitch his name. So I'm going to go back to that feature here, the needle minus plus key, and I'm going to go up one setting to where his name is and tap OK. Then I'm going to come back over here, and now you're going to need that clear topper that we talked about earlier. You're going to slide this under the foot, and we're going to change our thread color to black. I'm going to pull that white thread out from the needle, get my needle threader. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and start to stitch his name. And I'm just going to hold this topper down in place as it gets started. And what the topper does is it kind of creates a barrier between that batting and the thread so that it doesn't get buried down in that pile of the batting. So you'll notice immediately that the Altair 2 also cuts all of your jump stitches. So that's a wonderful feature when you're doing embroidery. So this is what it looks like without the topper. You can kind of notice that it's kind of buried a little bit in there, and it pulls that batting just a little bit, so the topper will help make that look a lot cleaner. And the topper will just lay there. If you're uncomfortable with floating that topper over your project, of course you can use tape to hold that down as you go. You can use Scotch tape, painter's tape, embroidery tape. Kimberbell has a really nice embroidery tape. Even the paper medical tape works great for embroidery when you're doing in the hoop designs. I feel like I'm playing thread chicken right now, watching that thread get empty. Am I going to have enough? I know I am. I hope I am. So we're on the last letter. The great thing about the topper is it just rips right off of your project, and then any little pieces that are left underneath the stitching you can remove. So with this one in particular, where it is a press away, you can get your iron close to that, hit it with a little bit of steam from your iron, and it will just come right out of those little spots. So I'm going to take this off. We're going to peel that topper off, and you'll notice it just comes right off. And that looks a lot nicer, in my opinion, than doing it without. We're going to get rid of that one little jump stitch that it missed. And then I'm going to take the sharp end of my snips, wiggle underneath that felt, being sure that I'm not clipping my vinyl. And then I'm just going to work my way around there, clipping that little window out. You can take your time with this and get really, really close and really accurate. But the felt is very forgiving, so you don't have to be really too particular with it. It does help if you hold it up as you clip. It just kind of makes it cut smoother. And then on the other side, you'll notice that I still have my stabilizer behind that little window. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that as well, right just behind the vinyl. So try to be sure not to get your vinyl. And if you just get the sharp end of your scissors underneath there, it'll just pop right out. And we're just going to go right around the edge. And get rid of that stabilizer. You don't have to worry about these tie-off knots and the extra thread, because that's going to actually be on the inside of your stocking, and you're not going to see that. So now you have a nice little peekaboo window there, which is really, really cute. And we're going to put the hoop back on the machine. We're going to re-thread with white thread. Always be sure to clip your thread at the top and work it and pull it from the bottom, or walk it out this way. Never pull it back up through the machine. That can create problems with your tension. Okay. So now on my screen, it's telling me that I'm finished. Well, I know I'm not, because I still need to put the back of my little stocking on. But if you remember, when we added the name, we had to go back and out of the project. So now we need to get forward back to where we were at step number 7. So we're just going to jump through these different steps and get right back to where we were. So you can do this with any In the Hoop project. You can add names as you go, personalize, just using that forward and backward option to get where you need to go. So my needle's threaded with white. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step. This is just going to be a placement line to show me where to lay the fabric on the back side. of my hoop. Then I'm going to remove the hoop. I'm going to flip my hoop over. And I've got a really large chunk of felt, so I'm going to just tape that down, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. So we're just going to cover that up, and I've got my placement line right above there, but really we just want to cover that whole thing, right? So I'm going to cover that whole back side of that little stocking. Tape it on the 3 sides that are open right now, and it's okay to tape it right to the hoop. Then I'm going to take my little scissors. I'm going to get rid of my excess. Then I'm going to tape that side down as well, just for good measure. Then this is ready to go back on the hoop on the machine. And then I'm ready to sew the whole thing together. It's also a good idea for you to have a regular pair of scissors handy so that when you're finished, you can trim this out. Of course, if you are really good with a rotary cutter, you can absolutely just zip around that with a rotary cutter. But when you're finished, you have this cute little stocking that you can fill full of treats for your little ones. And these are quick and easy to make. Okay, so we're all finished. Now we're ready to take the hoop off the machine. Take my project out of the hoop. And there we go. So now I'm just going to take my regular pair of scissors and I'm going to trim close to that outside stitch. And this is why I love stitching with felt, because it's so forgiving. Even if you don't get really, really close, it still looks like a nice, clean, finished edge. And it's pretty cheap. You can get sheets of felt. Hobby Lobby sells them. I think they're like 8 by 11 size sheets, maybe something like that. But I think they're less than $1. So this is just a fun little project to do. And there you go. Easy peasy, cute little stocking. So you could do several of these in an afternoon if you wanted. All right, so that's it. That is as simple as you can get with a project. So again, that one was from GG Designs Embroidery. So the website is ggdesignsembroidery.com. Cute little design, $5, super easy to make. So again, I've got this machine, floor model, and an unopened machine as well available, as also the Meridian 2, which is the embroidery only version of this machine. So if you're curious about this machine or any other, let us know, and we're happy to answer any questions that you've got. I hope that tutorial was helpful for you guys, and if you would like to see any other projects, let us know in the comments what you would like us to do with you. We're happy to do those tutorials for you and kind of help you get more familiar and comfortable with your machines as you go. So thanks for joining me. I had a great time with you guys today, and I will see you next time.